The stars looked cold and empty through the window of the horizon's edge. Captain Jake Morrison sat in his chair on the bridge, watching the darkness of space. His ship had been traveling for 3 months now, looking for new worlds and new life. So far, they had found nothing but empty planets and cold rocks. "Captain," Lisa Park called from her station. She was the communications officer, a young woman with bright eyes and quick fingers. "I'm picking up something strange." Jake turned to look at her. "What kind of strange?" Lisa frowned at her screen. The green lights danced across her face as she worked. "It's a signal, but not like anything we've seen before. It's not human." "Sir," the bridge went quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing. In all their years of space travel, humans had never found another species that could talk. They had found plants and simple animals, but nothing that could send signals across space. "Are you sure?" Jake asked. "Yes, sir. It's coming from about 2 hours away at full speed." And Captain ... Lisa looked up at him with worried eyes. "I think it's a distress call." Jake stood up quickly. "Tony, get us there as fast as you can." Tony Walsh, the ship's engineer, was already working at his controls. "Yes, sir. Full speed ahead." The horizon's edge turned and began to move faster through space. Jake called his crew together. Dr. Amy Rodriguez came up from her lab. She was the ship's expert on alien life, though she had never seen any before. Ben Carter, the doctor, came from the medical bay. He was an older man with kind eyes and gentle hands. "We might be about to meet our first aliens," Jake told them. "Everyone stay calm and be ready for anything." As they got closer to the signal, they could see a ship floating in space. It was strange and dark, with sharp edges and no lights. Smoke was coming out of holes in its side. "There's definitely someone alive in there," Dr. Rodriguez said, looking at her instruments, "but their ship is badly damaged." "Life support is failing," Ben said from his medical station. "Whatever is in there won't live much longer." Jake made his decision. "We're going to help them. Tony, get us close enough to." Doc, Lisa tried to contact them. Lisa worked at her controls, sending simple signals to the alien ship. Mathematical patterns, basic pictures, anything that might show they wanted to help. Suddenly, her screen lit up with a response, but it wasn't numbers or pictures. It was a sound, a deep, angry growling that made everyone on the bridge step back. "That doesn't sound friendly," Tony said. "They're scared," Dr. Rodriguez said. "Think about it. They're dying, and suddenly a strange ship appears. They don't know if we want to help or hurt them." Jake nodded. "Keep trying, Lisa. Show them we're not a threat." It took 30 minutes to get the ships connected. Jake led a small team through the airlock and into the alien ship. The air was thick and hard to breathe. Emergency lights flashed red, and there was a strange smell that made their eyes water. "Stay close," Jake whispered to his team. Ben carried his medical kit, ready to help. Dr. Rodriguez had her scanner, trying to learn about these new creatures. They found them in what looked like the main room of the ship. Jake's breath caught in his throat. The aliens were huge, at least 8 feet tall, with thick fur and long claws. Their faces looked like a mix between a wolf and a bear, with sharp teeth and yellow eyes. They were the most dangerous-looking things Jake had ever seen, but they weren't attacking. They were huddled together in the corner, and Jake could see why. Several small creatures, clearly the babies of these aliens, were lying on the floor. They were breathing hard and making weak crying sounds. One of the adult aliens, bigger than the others, stepped forward. It was clearly female and seemed to be their leader. She growled at the humans, but Jake could see fear in her eyes, not anger. "The little ones are dying," Ben said quietly. "That gas leak is poisoning them." The alien leader seemed to understand that the humans were looking at the babies. She moved protectively in front of them, her claws ready to fight. But Ben surprised everyone. He slowly put down his medical kit and held up his hands to show he had no weapons. Then he pointed to the dying babies and to his medical supplies. He made gentle gestures, trying to show he wanted to help. The alien leader tilted her head, confused. Why would these small, weak creatures want to help alien babies? Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward with her scanner. The gas is some kind of chemical poison, she said. It's killing their children slowly. Ben nodded and opened his kit. He pulled out a small device that could clean the air and some medicine that might help. Very slowly, he walked toward the babies. The adult aliens tensed, ready to attack if the human hurt their young. But Ben knelt down beside the smallest baby alien and began to work. His hands were gentle and careful. He put the air cleaner near the baby's face and gave it some medicine. The baby's breathing got easier almost right away. The alien leader made a sound of surprise. She watched as Ben moved to the next baby, then the next. Each time, he was careful and gentle, like he was caring for his own children. "Why are you helping us?" The leader seemed to ask with her eyes. Ben looked up at her and smiled. He didn't need words to answer. Any human would do the same thing. Children were children, no matter what species they came from. The other adult. Aliens began to relax. They could see that these strange visitors were not there to hurt them. They were there to save their baby's dot, and for the first time in their long journey through space, the humans of the horizon's edge knew they were not alone in the universe. They had found something more valuable than gold or new worlds. They had found a species that loved their children as much as humans loved theirs. Ben worked for 3 hours straight to save the alien babies. His hands never stopped moving as he cleaned the poison from their small bodies. The adult aliens watched him closely, amazed by how gently he touched their young ones. Dr. Rodriguez worked beside him, using her scanner to understand the alien children better. "They're similar to Earth mammals," she whispered to Ben. "The medicine should work on them." The alien leader, who the humans had started calling Big Mother in their minds, came closer to watch. She was huge and scary, with claws that could tear metal, but she moved very carefully around the human doctor. "She's beautiful," Ben said quietly, looking at the alien leader. "Look how much she cares about these little ones." Big Mother heard the gentle tone in his voice. She didn't understand his words, but she understood kindness. She made a low rumbling sound that seemed friendly. Meanwhile, Tony Walsh was trying to fix the alien ship's air system. The poison gas was still leaking, and more could come out at any time. He crawled through the alien ship's tunnels, which were much bigger than human ships needed. "These aliens are built for size and strength," Tony said into his radio. "Everything here is heavy and tough." Kelly Thompson, the ship's nurse, came through the airlock with more medical supplies. She was a small woman with red hair and a brave heart. When she saw the alien babies, she immediately knelt down to help Ben. "Oh, you poor little things," she said softly to the babies. They couldn't understand her words, but they seemed calm. Down when she spoke, one of the baby aliens, about the size of a human child, reached out with a tiny paw and touched Kelly's hand. Kelly smiled and gently held the paw. "They're so sweet," she said, "just like human babies." The adult aliens made surprised sounds. In their culture, warriors didn't usually act so gentle with children. But these humans seemed to have no fear of looking weak. Captain Jake came over to check on the medical work. "How are they doing?" "Better," Ben said. "The medicine is working, but we need to get them to clean air soon, or they might get sick again." Jake nodded. "Tony, how much longer?" Tony's voice came through the radio from deep inside the alien ship. "Give me another hour, Captain. This is harder than fixing human ships." While Tony worked, something amazing happened. The alien babies started to feel better, and they became curious about the humans. The smallest one crawled over to Kelly and tried to climb into her lap. Kelly laughed and helped the baby up. "There you go, little one. Are you feeling better?" The baby made happy chirping sounds and snuggled against Kelly's chest. The adult aliens stared in shock. Their babies never acted so trusting with strangers. Big Mother came closer to Kelly. She pointed at the baby in Kelly's arms and made questioning sounds. Dr. Rodriguez tried to understand. "I think she's asking why the baby likes you so much." Kelly looked up at the huge alien mother. "Because we want to help," she said simply. "We want your babies to be safe." Big Mother tilted her head. The translator device Dr. Rodriguez had brought was starting to pick up some of their language. It spoke in a robot voice. "Safe. Help. Why?" Kelly smiled and gently rocked the baby alien. "Because they're babies. All babies deserve to be safe and loved." The translator worked on this for a moment, then spoke in the alien language. Big Mother's eyes went wide when she heard it. She made a long speech in her own language. When she finished, the translator said, "We do not understand. You are small. We are strong. Why do small ones protect big ones' children?" Dr. Rodriguez realized this was important. "Kelly, I think their culture is based on strength. They don't understand why we would risk ourselves for alien babies." Jake stepped forward. "Tell her this," he said to Dr. Rodriguez. "Tell her that strong people protect children, all children. That's what makes us strong." Dr. Rodriguez worked with the translator to pass on the message. When Big Mother heard it, she was quiet for a long time. Finally, she spoke again. The translator said, "You are strange warriors. We will watch and learn." Tony finally got the air system working. Clean air began to flow through the alien ship. The babies immediately started breathing easier and playing more. But there was bad news. "Captain," Tony said, "their engine is completely broken. This ship can't fly anymore." Jake thought about this. "Then we'll take them with us. Their home world can't be too far away." When the translator told the aliens this, they had a big discussion. Some of them seemed worried about getting on a human ship. But Big Mother made the decision. "We will come," the translator said for her. "You have saved our young. We trust you." Moving the aliens to the horizon's edge was not easy. They were very big and heavy. But they were also very careful around the human crew. They seemed to understand that humans were smaller and could be hurt easily. The alien babies were moved first. Kelly and Ben carried them one by one to the human ship. The babies seemed to love the human ship. It was brighter and warmer than their own ship. "They're so curious," Kelly said as one baby tried to touch everything in the medical bay. "Look how they explore." Dr. Rodriguez was taking notes on everything. "This is amazing," she said. "First contact with an alien species, and they're letting us care for their children." The adult aliens came last. They had to duck their heads to fit through the human ship's doors. But they were very polite and careful not to break anything. Big Mother came to the bridge to meet Captain Jake. She was so tall that her head almost touched the ceiling. But when she spoke through the translator, her voice was grateful. "You have saved our future," she said. "Our children are our most important treasure. You have protected them like they were your own." Jake nodded. "Where is your home world?" "We'll take you there." Big Mother gave them the location. It was 3 weeks away at the human ship's speed. 3 weeks, Jake said. "That gives us time to learn about each other." As the horizon's edge began its journey to the alien home world, something special was already happening. The alien babies had claimed the humans as their new favorite playmates. They followed Kelly and Ben everywhere, making happy sounds and trying to copy what the humans did. The adult aliens watched this with wonder. They had never seen their children so happy and trusting with strangers. "I think," Dr. Rodriguez said to Captain Jake, "we're about to learn something very important about what it means to be human." Jake nodded as he watched Kelly singing a lullaby to a baby alien. The baby was falling asleep in her arms, completely safe and content. "And I think they're about to learn something important about us too," he said. The first week on the horizon's edge was like nothing anyone had ever seen. The alien babies, who the humans had started calling cubs, were everywhere. They followed the human crew around like happy puppies, always curious and always wanting to play. Kelly had become their favorite human. Every morning, she would wake up to find 3 or 4 cubs sleeping outside her door. They would make happy chirping sounds when they saw her and try to hug her legs with their small arms. "They're so affectionate," Kelly said to Dr. Rodriguez. "Human children can be shy with strangers, but these little ones just want to be friends." Dr. Rodriguez was studying the cubs' behavior. "I think it's because we saved them," she said. "They see us as family now." The adult aliens watched this with amazement. In their culture, children were trained to be strong and independent from a very young age. But the human crew treated the cubs like they were precious treasures. Ben had set up a play area in the medical bay. He filled it with soft blankets and simple toys from the ship's supplies. The cubs loved it there. They would roll around and play gentle games while Ben worked nearby. "Look at this," Ben said to Jake when the captain came to visit. One of the cubs was trying to copy Ben's movements as he organized medical supplies. "They learn by watching us." Jake smiled. "They're smart, just like human kids." Big Mother came to the medical bay, often to check on her cubs. She was always surprised by how patient and gentle the humans were. Through the translator, she asked Ben many questions. "Why do you not train them to fight?" she asked one day. Ben looked confused. "They're just babies. They should play and have fun, not fight. But how will they become strong?" Ben thought about this. "They'll become strong by feeling safe and loved. When children feel safe, they can grow up to be brave and kind." The translator worked on this message for a long time. When Big Mother heard it, she was quiet for several minutes. Tony Walsh had also become popular with the cubs. He showed them how the ship's engines worked and let them help with simple repairs. The cubs were fascinated by human technology. "Your machines are small but smart," Big Mother said to Tony through the translator. "Our machines are big and strong, but yours do more with less." Tony nodded. "We have to be creative. We're not as strong as you, so we have to think of better ways to do things." One cub, the smallest one that Kelly had helped first, had become very attached to a human crew member named Mike Johnson. Mike was the ship's security officer, a big man with kind eyes and a gentle voice. The little cub would sit on Mike's lap during meals and sleep, curled up next to his bed at night. Mike didn't mind at all. "I always wanted kids," Mike told Kelly. One day as the cub slept in his arms, "This little guy is teaching me what it would be like to be a father." The adult aliens were shocked by this. In their culture, warriors did not show such tender feelings. But they could see that Mike was not weak. He was strong and brave, but also loving and protective. Dr. Rodriguez spent many hours talking with Big Mother about their two cultures. She learned that the aliens were called the Tethari, and they came from a world of constant danger. Only the strongest survived, so they had built their whole society around being tough and fearless. "We do not understand your way," Big Mother said. "You are soft with children, but you are not weak. How can this be?" Dr. Rodriguez smiled. "Being gentle with children doesn't make us weak. It makes us stronger. When we protect and love our young, we're fighting for the future." The translator had trouble with this concept. It took several tries to get the message across. "You fight ... by loving?" Big Mother asked. Yes, love is the strongest force in the universe. It makes us brave enough to do anything to protect what we care about. Steve Mitchell, the ship's pilot, had started teaching the older cubs about human music. He played simple songs on his guitar while they listened with fascination. Some of the cubs even tried to sing along. Music is new to them, Steve told Dr. Rodriguez. I don't think their species has music like ours. One day, Steve played a lullaby that human mothers sang to their babies. The cubs became very calm and sleepy. Even the adult aliens stopped to listen. When the song ended, Big Mother spoke to the translator. This sound, it makes the heart feel peaceful. We have never heard such a thing. Steve smiled. That's what music is for. It helps us feel emotions and share them with others. The most amazing thing happened during the second week. The cubs started learning human words. They couldn't speak clearly yet, but they tried to copy the sounds the humans made. Kelly, one cub said, trying to say Kelly's name. Kelly was so happy she almost cried. Ben, another cub said, pointing at the doctor. Ben good. The adult aliens were amazed. Their children were learning a completely different language just by being around the humans. They learn faster than we do, Big Mother said. Children's minds are like water. They take the shape of what surrounds them. Dr. Rodriguez realized. This was very important. Big Mother, your children are learning to be like us because they feel safe with us. They're copying our behavior. Big Mother nodded slowly. They are becoming softer, but not weaker. They still play and fight, but they also show love freely. Is that bad? Dr. Rodriguez asked. Big Mother thought for a long time. I do not know. It is different, but I see that they are happy. Happier than Tethari children usually are. The third week brought the biggest surprise. The smallest cub, the one that loved Mike so much, got scared during a loud noise from the engine room. Instead of running to his mother or the other adult, Tethari, he ran straight to Mike, picked up the frightened cub and held him close. It's okay, little buddy. You're safe. I won't let anything hurt you. The cub calmed down immediately and fell asleep in Mike's arms. All the adult aliens watched this happen. They saw their baby choose a human over his own species for comfort and protection. Big Mother came to Mike later. The little one trusts you more than us, she said through the translator. This has never happened before. Mike looked worried. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take him away from you. Big Mother shook her head. You did not take him. He chose you. This tells me something important about humans. What does it tell you? Big Mother was quiet for a moment. It tells me that you are what we call true protectors. You do not protect only your own kind. You protect all young life. Dr. Rodriguez heard this conversation and realized they were approaching something historic. The Tethari were beginning to understand something about humanity that even humans didn't fully understand about themselves. As the horizon's edge got closer to the Tethari home world, everyone knew that things would never be the same. The cubs had learned to trust humans completely. The adult aliens had seen a new way of caring for children, and the human crew had learned that love and protection could cross any barrier, even the barrier between species. But the real test was coming. Soon they would reach the Tethari home world, where the aliens would have to explain to their own people why they had trusted their most precious treasure, their children, to a species of strangers. The galaxy was about to learn something new about what it meant to be human. The Tethari homeworld appeared on the horizon's edge screens like a massive brown and green ball. It was bigger than Earth, with 3 moons circling around it. Jake could see lights on the surface that meant cities and millions of aliens. It's beautiful, Lisa said from her communication station. But I'm getting some very angry messages from their defense ships. Jake looked at the screen. Dozens of alien warships were moving toward them. They were dark and sharp, built for fighting. Each one was 3 times bigger than the horizon's edge. They want to know why we have their people, Lisa continued. And they're telling us to surrender, or they'll attack. Big Mother came to the bridge. She had to duck her head to avoid hitting the ceiling. I will speak to them, she said through the translator. Lisa opened a channel to the alien ships. Big Mother spoke in her own language, making deep growling, sounds that the translator couldn't handle fast enough. The alien ships stopped moving toward them, but they didn't go away. What did you tell them? Jake asked. I told them the truth, Big Mother said. That you saved our cubs when we could not. That you are friends. Dr. Rodriguez came to the bridge with one of the cubs riding on her shoulders. The small alien was playing with her hair and making happy sounds. The cubs don't want to leave the ship, Dr. Rodriguez said. They keep asking if the humans are coming with them. Jake felt sad. He had grown to love these little aliens too. But he knew they belonged with their own people. We have to take them home, he said, even if it hurts. The alien defense ships guided the horizon's edge down to the planet's surface. The ship landed in a huge port filled with other alien vessels. Through the windows, Jake could see hundreds of Tethari waiting outside. They all looked very serious, Kelly said nervously, and very big. Ben was in the medical bay, giving the cubs one last checkup. They were all healthy and happy now, but they clung to him and didn't want to let go. Ben stay? The smallest cub asked in his broken human speech. Please, Ben, stay? Ben's eyes filled with tears. I have to go back to my ship, little one, but I'll never forget you. Mike Johnson had the hardest time. The smallest cub, the one that slept next to him every night, wrapped his tiny arms around Mike's neck and wouldn't let go. No go, the cub said sadly. Mike, daddy, no go. Mike held the cub close. I'm not your daddy, little guy, but I love you like you were my son. The adult Tethari were ready to leave the ship. They had collected their belongings and said goodbye to the human crew. But they looked worried. What will your people think? Dr. Rodriguez asked Big Mother. Big Mother's eyes were sad. They will not understand at first. Our people believe that only strength matters. They will think we were weak to trust strangers. With our cubs. But you weren't weak, Jake said. You were brave. You let us help when you could have fought us. I know this, Big Mother said, but they do not. The airlock opened, and the Tethari began to leave the ship. The cubs went first, carried by Kelly and Ben and the other humans they had grown to love. The little aliens looked around with wide eyes at their homeworld. A group of very large, very serious-looking Tethari waited outside. They wore metal armor and carried weapons. Their leader was the biggest alien Jake had ever seen, with scars on his face and arms. That must be their leader, Dr. Rodriguez whispered. The scarred leader spoke in a deep, angry voice. The translator worked hard to keep up. I am Korthik, Prime Alpha of the Tethari. Why do aliens carry our cubs? Big Mother stepped forward. She began to speak, but Korthik interrupted her. You allowed strangers to touch our young? You gave them our cubs to hold? His voice was full of anger and disbelief. They saved our cubs, Big Mother said firmly. The cubs were dying. These humans risked their lives to help us. Korthik looked at the human crew. They were so much smaller than the Tethari, and they carried no weapons. These weak creatures, what could they do that we could not? Before anyone could answer, something amazing happened. The smallest cub, the one that loved Mike so much, wiggled out of Mike's arms and ran to Korthik. But instead of going to the big alien leader, the cub stopped and turned back to Mike. Mike, Daddy, the cub said clearly in human words. Mike, good. Mike, safe. Then the cub ran back to Mike and climbed up his leg to sit in his arms again. All the adult Tethari stared in shock. Their cubs never spoke alien languages, and they never chose aliens over their own people. How does the cub know their words? Korthik asked. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward. The cubs learned our language because they felt safe with us. When children feel safe, they learn faster and become more trusting. Another cub, one of the older ones, walked over to Kelly. Kelly, sing, the cub said. Kelly, make happy sounds. Kelly smiled and began to sing a simple human lullaby. All the cubs immediately became calm and peaceful. Even some of the adult Tethari seemed to relax when they heard the music. What is this sound? Korthik asked. It's music, Steve Mitchell said. We use it to show love and to make children feel safe. Love? Korthik's translator had trouble with this word. Explain this, love. Ben spoke up. Love is when you care more about someone else than you care about yourself. It's when you would do anything to keep them safe and happy. Korthik looked confused. But why would you feel this for alien cubs? They are not your offspring. Because they're children. Ben said simply, all children deserve to be loved and protected, no matter what species they are. The translator worked on this for a long time. When Korthik heard it, he was quiet for several minutes. An older female Tethari stepped forward. She was smaller than the others, with white fur and kind eyes. I am Velana, keeper of the old ways. May I speak? Korthik nodded. V. Lana looked at the human crew and the cubs. Long ago, before we became a warrior people, we too believed that all cubs were sacred. We protected any young life, even if it was not our own. That was before we learned that only strength matters, Korthik said. But look at these humans, Velana said. They are smaller than us, but they risked their lives for our cubs. Is that not strength? Korthik studied the humans. They are weak in body, but strong in spirit, Velana said. They have something we lost long ago. They have the courage to care. Dr. Rodriguez realized this was very important. Velana is right. We're not strong like you are. We can't fight like you can. But we can love like you once did. The smallest cub had fallen asleep in Mike's arms. Mike rocked him gently, like human fathers do with their babies. I don't understand, Korthik said. Why do you act like a parent to an alien cub? Mike looked down at the sleeping cub. Because he trusts me. Because he's innocent and needs protection. Because ... Mike paused and looked up at Korthik. Because that's what love makes you do. Korthik watched Mike hold the cub. He saw how gentle and protective the human was. He saw how peaceful and happy the cub looked. The cub chooses you over us, Korthik said quietly. He doesn't have to. Choose, Mike said. He can love both of us. Love isn't about choosing sides. It's about making everyone feel safe and wanted. Velana nodded. These humans have shown us what we forgot. They have shown us that true strength comes from protecting others, not from being the strongest. The other adult Tethari began to understand. They watched their cubs laughing and playing with the humans. They saw how happy and confident their young ones had become. Our cubs are different now, Big Mother said. They are still strong, but they are also loving. They learned this from the humans. Korthik looked at all the evidence around him. The cubs speaking human words, the peaceful music, the way the humans held and protected alien children like they were their own. You have done something I thought was impossible, he said to the human crew. You have shown us a new kind of strength. Jake stepped forward. We didn't mean to change anything. We just wanted to help. And that, Velana said, is exactly why you are so special. You help because it is right, not because you want something in return. The crowd of Tethari had grown larger. Word was spreading that the humans had saved their cubs and taught them new ways of being happy. "What do you want from us?" Korthik asked Jake. Jake thought about this. "Nothing. We just want to be friends." Korthik looked at his people, at the cubs playing with humans, at the evidence of love and protection that surrounded him. "Been friends. We shall be," he said. "And perhaps we can learn from each other." The cubs cheered in their chirping voices. The adult Tethari began to relax, and the humans of the horizon's edge realized they had just made history. They had shown an entire species that love was stronger than fear, that protection was more powerful than aggression, and that the best way to be strong was to care for those who needed help. The galaxy had just learned something new about humanity. 6 months had passed since the horizon's edge had left the Tethari home world. Jake Morrison sat in his captain's chair, reading reports that still amazed him. The galaxy had changed in ways no one could have imagined. "Captain," Lisa Park called from her station. "We're getting another request from the Zellan Empire. They want to send a delegation to meet with us." Jake nodded. The Zellan were reptile-like aliens who had never trusted anyone outside their own species. But they had heard about what happened with the Tethari cubs. "That makes 15 species this month," Jake said. "Word is really spreading." Dr. Rodriguez came to the bridge carrying a datapad full of reports. "Jake, you need to see this. The Tethari aren't just talking about us anymore. They're bringing their cubs to human colonies." Jake looked at the reports in surprise. "What do you mean?" "Look at this," Dr. Rodriguez said, showing him pictures on the datapad. New Tokyo Colony, Kepler Station, Mars Base. They all have Tethari families living there now. The parents are asking humans to help raise their children. Jake studied the pictures. He saw human teachers playing with young Tethari in schoolyards. He saw human doctors caring for alien babies. He saw human families sharing meals with entire Tethari clans. "This is incredible," Jake said. "They're actually trusting us with their most precious possession." "It gets better," Dr. Rodriguez continued. "The Tethari government has made it official. They've created something called the Human Guardian Program. Any Tethari family can request human caretakers for their cubs." Lisa looked up from her station. "Captain, I'm getting a message from Admiral Chun back on Earth. She wants to talk to you right away." Jake took the call in his private office. Admiral Chun appeared on his screen, looking both excited and worried. "Jake, do you understand what's happening out there?" the Admiral asked. "I think so," Jake replied. "The Tethari are trusting us with their children." "It's not just the Tethari anymore," Admiral Chun said. 3 more species have contacted Earth asking for the same thing. The Vrex, who are those bird-like aliens, want human teachers for their young. The Goran, those rock creatures, are asking for human caregivers in their nurseries. And get this, even the Shatar have made contact. Jake's eyes went wide. The Shatar? But they're supposed to be the most dangerous predators in the galaxy. That's right. They're 8-foot-tall hunters with fangs and poison claws. No one has ever seen their young because they hide them so well. But yesterday, a Shotar ship landed on Titan Station and asked specifically for human childcare workers. Jake sat back in his chair. "Admiral, what's really happening here?" Admiral Chun smiled. "You and your crew started something, Jake. You showed one species that humans will protect any child, anywhere. Now word is spreading across the galaxy that if you want your young ones to be truly safe, you give them to humans." After the call ended, Jake walked through his ship, thinking about everything. He found Ben in the medical bay, reading reports from human colonies. "Ben, are you seeing these reports too?" Ben looked up with bright eyes. "Jake, it's amazing. Human colonies are becoming like like galactic nurseries. Parents from dozens of species are bringing their children to live with us. How are our people handling it? Ben smiled, like you'd expect. They're treating these alien children like their own kids. Doesn't matter if they have fur, scales, or tentacles. If it's a baby, humans want to protect it. Kelly Thompson came into the medical bay carrying a small communicator. Captain, I just got a call from my sister on New Earth Colony. She says they have over 200 alien children living there now. The kids are learning human languages, playing human games, and the parents visit every week. Are there any problems? Jake asked. Just one, Kelly said with a grin. The alien children don't want to go home when their parents visit. They love living with humans too much. Dr. Rodriguez came running into the medical bay with her datapad. You all need to see this. I just got a transmission from the Galactic Council. Jake had heard of the Galactic Council. It was a group of the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy. They made the big decisions about trade and war. What do they want? Jake asked Dr. Rodriguez, read from her pad. They want to meet with us. They say that humanity has done something that has never happened before in galactic history. What's that? We've made predator species trust prey species with their young. The Council says this changes everything about how different species can work together. 2 weeks later, the Horizon's Edge arrived at the Galactic Council station. It was a massive structure floating in space, bigger than some moons. Ships from dozens of different species were docked there. Doc Jake and his crew were nervous as they walked through the station. They saw aliens they had never imagined, creatures made of living light, beings that looked like walking trees, and things that seemed to be made of pure energy. The council chamber was enormous. Hundreds of different aliens sat in a great circle, with the humans in the center. Jake felt very small, surrounded by all these powerful beings. The council speaker was an ancient alien that looked like a wise old turtle. When it spoke, its voice echoed through the chamber. Humans of the ship Horizon's Edge, the speaker said, you have done something that we thought was impossible. You have made the most dangerous predators in the galaxy trust you with their children. Why? Jake stood up to answer. His voice was small in the huge chamber, but it carried clearly. Because children need to be protected, he said simply. It doesn't matter what species they are. It doesn't matter if they're different from us. Children are the future, and the future deserves to be safe. The council was quiet for a long moment. Then another alien, one that looked like a giant butterfly, spoke up. But why would you risk your safety for alien young? What do you gain? Ben stood up beside Jake. We don't gain anything except the knowledge that we helped. When we see a child in danger, we don't think about what species it is. We just think about saving it. A third alien, one that glowed with inner light, asked, do all humans feel this way? Kelly stood up. Yes, every human parent, every human teacher, every human who has ever cared for a child would do the same thing. It's just who we are. The ancient turtle-like speaker nodded slowly. This explains much. We have received reports from across the galaxy. Predator species that have never trusted anyone are bringing their young to human worlds. Prey species are asking humans to protect them from hunters. You have become something new in our galaxy. What's that? Dr. Rodriguez asked. You have become the guardians, the species that all others trust with their most precious possessions, their children. The speaker gestured to the great chamber around them. For millions of years, this council has tried to bring peace between different species. We have failed more often than we have succeeded. But you humans have done in months what we could not do in millennia. We just helped some kids, Mike. Johnson said quietly. Yes, the speaker said. And in doing so, you have shown the galaxy a new way to live together. When species trust each other with their young, they cannot make war on each other. You have created peace through love. The council voted that day to make humanity the official guardians of the young for the entire galaxy. Any species could bring their children to human worlds, and humans would protect and care for them as if they were their own. 1 year later, Jake stood on the observation deck of the Horizon's Edge as it orbited New Earth Colony. Through the window, he could see the planet below. In the cities and towns, human families were raising children from 100 different species. Tethari cubs played with human children in parks. Young Shatar learned to read in human schools. Baby Vrex learned to fly with human teachers watching. Proudly, did we really change the galaxy? Jake asked Dr. Rodriguez, who was standing beside him. Dr. Rodriguez smiled as she watched an alien child and a human child playing together on the planet below. No, Jake, she said, we didn't change the galaxy. We just showed the galaxy what humans are really like. We showed them that love is stronger than fear, that protection is more powerful than aggression, and that the best way to make friends is to care for each other's children. Jake nodded. In the distance, another ship was approaching the planet. It carried more alien families, bringing their young ones to the safety of human care. The galaxy is learning, Jake said. Yes, Dr. Rodriguez agreed. And the lesson is simple. When you want your children to be truly safe, truly loved, and truly protected, you give them to humans. Because humans don't just guard children, they love them. On the planet below, in a small human town, Mike Johnson was reading a bedtime story to a group of alien children. They came from 12 different species, but they all listened with the same wonder that human children showed Dot as Mike finished the story. The smallest child, a young Tethari that reminded him of the cub from the Horizon's Edge, looked up at him with sleepy eyes. Mike, the child said in perfect human speech, will you always keep us safe? Mike smiled and tucked the blanket around. The little alien, always, little one. That's what humans do. We protect the ones we love. And across the galaxy, on thousands of human worlds, millions of human guardians were saying the same thing to millions of alien children. The galaxy had learned the most important truth about humanity. They could be trusted with the future because